how's things going? How's development going? How are we feeling about stuff?
Pretty good. I'm
Yeah.
actually in the works right now to rework or re-edit my trailer, which I didn't like before.
Mm.
I'm getting more used to video editing, and yeah, so that's one thing I'm excited about, and I'm shooting for releasing a demo this month.
Wow.
First on itch, so I want to kind of test drive it on itch, and then I hope by October I can release something on Steam, a demo.
Nice, nice. I was actually, you know what? I was curious about doing something like that, like almost building a little bit of an audience on itch, or like almost like a test drive, like a test. Because itch is so, I mean, you don't have to worry about any sort of anything, feedback, or at least the how do I put, like, contamination, I guess, between Steam and itch. Like, you don't have to worry about that cross contamination. But
Yeah.
usually you put something on itch, get the brutal feedback sometimes, and kind of be like, okay, cool, I can fix this, I can do this. But like, I feel like the second you put it on Steam, you kind of like, you're like, there it is, and then like the world just pretty much will destroy you potentially. Where itch, I feel like you can kind of be a little bit more flexible, and I just feel like the community is a little bit better on itch when it comes to releasing more prototype-esque type games.
Exactly, because that's what they're looking for on there. I mean, the audience is expecting to have some game jam games, for example, or
Right.
just some really rudimentary prototypes, because they're enthusiasts, and
Mm-hmm.
they're excited to play something new and unusual, and they're willing to put up with whatever bad graphics or the occasional bug maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's not what I can expect to where I can expect any leniency from the Steam crowd, I think, because they're looking for games to play, to spend money on, and there's not enough money to go around, so they're looking for excellence. And yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
No,
want to accrue negative Steam reviews on my demo, for example.
for sure. And actually, and it was something for sure I started thinking about, because I don't know if you saw in our Discord, but we basically just had a play test, and we got, first of all, I'm so happy. Like even like the bad stuff that people were like, there was somebody that was basically just like totally like not hating on it, but he was really aggressive about all the
But
things.
that's so helpful. It's so good.
100%. Oh no, 100% about that. Because it's like, when you're building it, you don't know all of the things because you're building it. You're like, oh, I know especially the like little like quirks, especially your game is, roguelite. You have a lot of like different things that you got to equip and manage, and resources, and whatever you're going on. It's like, you kind of know how that's already functioning. And so like, when you're playing the game, you don't have to think, you already know what you're doing. And so like, having somebody come in that has no idea what to do, it makes you be able to go, oh, okay, I get it. I totally saw that. That is a problem. This is definitely a problem. We definitely need to flesh these things out. And yes, it can come off brutal, but it's, oh man, we were overwhelmingly so happy with the feedback, because it was kind of the first taste. We tried to do a play test back in December, and no one played, and no one gave us feedback, more or less. And so like, having this one where it was like the opposite of that was just like, oh, thank God we can finally look at this a little bit more objectively.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I once posted my trailer, my old one, on Destroy My Game on Reddit.
oh
On the
wow,
subreddit
okay.
Destroy My Game, which is built to give really harsh feedback, but honest feedback. And one of them wrote, yeah, it looks great if you like PowerPoint presentations. So that was fun.
Oh man.
But that's helpful. So, okay, yeah, my game is too static. I get it.
Now, as far as, I'm just kind of curious, as far as all the assets in your game, and I'm sorry if I don't remember. We may have even talked about this a little bit on our like previous call, but oh, we didn't. Okay. So on all the assets, are these all your assets? Are these pre-created assets? Like, are they bought assets? Are they Did you make these assets? Like, give me a little feedback or background as far as.
It's a bit of a mishmash actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I started out with just buying assets on itch or game dev stores and Unity store, and trying to have it somewhat consistent, but that wasn't really working.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't find a lot of assets that worked for my game specifically, because
Mm-hmm.
I have somewhat an unusual perspective. You find a lot of stuff for side-scrolling platformers or for top-down shooters or something.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have this first-person view that I'm going for, that's a little bit more tricky.
Yeah.
And so I kind of switched to finding artists I like and commission them for work. I
Mm.
unfortunately cannot draw worth a damn myself. I wish I could. I mean, it would prolong the dev time even more, but I wish I could do it myself. I would love to draw, but
Mm-hmm.
I can't. And so I have a few individuals who do that for me.
Oh wow. Yeah, because it looks really good. Like I was surprised. And I not to be derogatorily, but like at when I first saw it, I was like, is he using AI art in this? Like what this is kind of like not to like I said, not that you did, but it was like it kind of I mean, it's so hard to tell. It's getting so much harder to tell these days.
Yeah.
What is, actually hand drawn, what is AI, what is what. And as we continue down this path, it's going to get even more difficult. And so that's why I was just curious on like what you did. And yeah, that's cool. I mean, you commissioned some people to create well, you use a combination of things. You bought some stuff and then you also commissioned some people. So like I'm assuming like your oh gosh, the capsule was probably commissioned by yeah. And it looks really good. It's definitely something that catches you. Yeah, that you have an awesome capsule, a great capsule.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very happy
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. I'm glad you bought that one because it
Yeah,
definitely
exactly.
came out
No,
good.
that money well spent, I hope at least.
Mm-hmm. And so how are we feeling as far as the feedback? Like, I know you said destroy my game type of stuff, but as far as other than the person that said it looks like a PowerPoint, like other than that, like how is some of the feedback looking with the game right now?
Um, Actually, I can't really talk much about that because I haven't shown the game in a lot of places. I've
Mm-hmm.
been a bit lagging in my marketing, I gotta admit, um, even though that's my day job. Um, but no, I've shown it in a couple of subreddits. The response has been middling to good, I'd have to say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it does look good so far. I'm happy with the visuals so far.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, actually, I think I'm gonna get more feedback when I get a new trailer. Then I'm feeling more confident to show the game. And I did read about the suggestions and the advice that you should show your girl a game early on,
Mm-hmm.
um, even if it's just placeholder assets and everything. And I do agree, but I don't feel as confident to show the game in the
Mm-hmm.
early state. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I gotta say, I'm in no rush actually, because I enjoy working on the game. I don't need it to make money. I don't need it to be finished by next year or anything. And I can
Mm-hmm.
just work on it and be happy. And when I feel that the game is good and done, I will release it, maybe in early access, maybe as a full game, and we'll see how the reception is then. Of course, I do want people to play the game.
Of
And if I
course.
don't do anything, then nobody will play the game because nobody would hear about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm slowly ramping up my marketing efforts.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you just said so. So you said so is marketing like your day job? Is that something that you do on your day job?
Yeah, but
Oh,
not
okay.
for video games, for an insurance company.
Oh, insurance. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, and there was somebody else I was talking to that did some that's similar. They
Mhm.
also do marketing as their full-time job. And man, he's hit it out of the park on a couple. He sent me a couple Reddit posts, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Shit, man! Like, you really freaking nailed it there." And I was like, you weren't kidding. Like that's something you do every day, isn't it? And he was like, yep, yep, yep. But we don't have to talk about him. I'll have a whole episode for him. It's a waste of time. But anyway, I just thought I found it interesting. And marketing's difficult. It is. I'm especially with games. I come from a business background, and with business and marketing, things like that, depending on the focus, if it's, you're just trying to get your brand out there, obviously that's a different animal than I'm used to putting out a piece of marketing and trying to get some sort of action, get somebody to click on something, book in a meeting or schedule something or get into a community. Every piece of marketing has some sort of, why can't I think of the term? Action, a call to action. Every piece of marketing in my world has always had some sort of call to action to it. And in gaming, it's very outside of trying to gain the wish list. It's interesting because it's almost like you want to put things out there that hopefully the community will like and share and go viral a little bit to kind of get more eyeballs. And it's almost like it's so weird because it's like you have to put stuff out there that people like and share, and then that's how you kind of get that back. And because from what I've read, the paid ad stuff, like trying to pay to just get your name or your trailer out there or whatever you're trying to do, it just doesn't convert the way people, want it to. And so it's like, you have to run the organic game. And I'm like, God damn, it's hard. It's really, really hard. You either have to really piss Reddit off, or you have to really give them something that they're going to like. And usually it's something they laugh at, or something that's really stellar, really mind blowing, something unique, like a new mode or a new engine or something crazy like that. But it's difficult. It's very difficult.
It's really tough because it's like you said, they have to laugh about it, or it has to be visually really stunning. And my game is kind of neither. I don't want it to be funny. I want it to be a serious game. And I don't have the budget to make it really visually stunning. So yeah, I'm kind of in a tough spot, but I've seen some weird posts, man, and they get thousands of likes that really don't have anything to do with the actual game. So maybe that's a route I can take, where you kind of make a funny post about your dev life or whatever happened to you. And that kind of tangentially get you wish lists. But yeah, it's weird. I mean, I'm so used to, getting people to, hey, this is our product, please consider buying it. And not, hey, this is a product that will eventually be, you will be able to buy in the future, 2 years from now. Please put it on your wish list now. And I'm competing with thousands of other developers that are doing exactly the thing and pissing Reddit off, as you said. And I can totally understand it, because I'm scrolling through my Reddit feed and I see one promotional post after the other, and I don't want to see them. So
Yup. And lately, I mean, personally, I've had some good ones do pretty well on Reddit, but then I've had just a string of just nothing, and I'm just like, God damn, it's making me crazy. I'm like, I'm trying both ends of them. I'm like trying to do inspirational stuff. Now Reddit hates that. I'm like, maybe do something that'll piss people off. No, they really hated that. And then I'll try, I've been trying the assortment of different ways of emotion to draw people in. And I've just been striking out lately, so I need to go back to the drawing board to figure out how to get people to do it. But it's struggling. This is kind of the essence of the show too. I started this because I found a lot of projects out there that were really interesting to me. And so I wasn't sure if you came from one of my Reddit posts or if I reached out to you specifically. You came for the Reddit post?
Reddit post, yeah.
Yeah. And so before I did that post, I was just reaching out to cool projects that I thought were interesting. And I must have just not seen yours at some point, or it was in a in-between time of me sending messages to being like, I don't have too many people, I have to stop sending messages. But anyway, so I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Sorry about that. I've had too much coffee this morning.
You said that's what the show is about.
Oh yeah, yes, that's right. That's kind of what the show was about. Was just there's cool projects out there. I'm like, there's got to be another way to get the name out there, get their information out there, find out who it is. And you being in marketing, you probably understand this, but it's people buy from people. People want to know the person behind the thing, why they can get attached to their story. They can find out who they are, why they made the thing, why they're doing it. And those are the things that people kind of like more or less like fall in love with. They're like, oh, that person's cool. I want to see more about them. I want to find out why they're working on this thing. And so that's kind of why I started this whole thing, was just like, I think there's cool projects out there, and I think that they deserve a light or a chance or a shot at, getting your name out there. And, we'll see. I don't know. Sometimes, some days this show kind of makes me frustrated because something that I think will do well, I'm like, really? No one's watching this damn thing? And then
Yeah,
I have
you
to
never
sit there
know.
and and then I have to sit there and burn an effigy to YouTube just to try and see if the gods will bless me with with exposure on my episodes. Oh man. So how is it balancing out your workload as far as when it comes to like working on the game and your life? Like, how does that workload look like right now?
I'd say I get about, on average, 2 or maybe 3 hours per day to work on my game.
Mm,
I kind of do like you. I get up at 4:30 in the morning,
yeah.
because that's the quietest and most efficient time I can work.
Mm-hmm.
And then my family starts to wake up, and I got to do other things. I got to do my day job at 7 a.m. And I only work 25 hours a week at my day job, so that helps. I can do game dev
Mm,
in between. And yeah, whenever I can scrounge up half an hour or something, I usually work on the game. It helps that I love doing it. I don't consider it as a chore, even if it's something that's usually called drudgery work. I
mm,
actually like doing that too. So it's my hobby, it's my passion, and I love doing it. But yeah, work comes first because I have to pay the bills.
mm-hmm.
And what really comes first is the family. But yeah, every little bit about aside from that is usually spent on game dev.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's definitely a labor of love, that's for sure. What's your favorite thing about working on the game? Like, do you like coding? Do you like, and also, I guess just a general follow up with that. It's like, what are you building this in? Is this a Unity or is this something different?
No, I've went with GameMaker.
Okay.
Um, this is my first real serious game project, but I did something like 8 or 9 years ago in GameMaker with the Playmaker plugin. That's something like with more visual coding because I don't know
Mm,
how to code, or I didn't.
mm-hmm.
And it felt really painful and uh, yeah, not fun coding and doing this in Unity. So I kind of burnt out on Unity. I mean, it may be a completely different engine is probably than it was, probably
Mm,
is. But yeah, the last couple of years, I always had this in my head. Man, I really want to do a game at some point, but I don't know how to code, and it feels like I can't learn it. And tried a couple different engines until I finally discovered that I own GameMaker on Steam, and I don't know why. I must have bought it at some point, but it's there, and I tried it out, and I immediately fell in love with it because there's this visual coding aspect, but you can also code in their native language, GameMaker language.
mm,
And it kind of gets a bad rap because it has the reputation of a simple beginner's game engine, and it is. It's really good for beginners, I think. But it's also really powerful. There's really nothing you can't do in GameMaker.
mm-hmm.
It's a bit more 2D oriented than 3D oriented, but I like 2D games anyway. And so yeah, that's what I'm using. And what was the other part of the question? Sorry.
Oh, like, what's your favorite part about making this
Oh,
game?
right.
Like, what? Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Sorry.
definitely I'm
What?
definitely
Yeah.
a coder now. I love coding. I fell in love with GameMaker language, and that's my favorite part. I love figuring out how to solve a problem that I have no idea how to solve when I
Mm.
start tackling it. And yeah, that's really been great. If there's anything I hate about it, then it's probably UI design. I it,
Oh man.
it's probably just because I'm really bad at it, but I've went through so many iterations and kind of small little tweaks to get all the stuff in there, and then there's stuff I want to do with the game, but I can't
Yeah.
because I can't figure out how to visually communicate to the player that you can
Right.
do this. So I have to cut stuff because of UI, and it kind of frustrates me, but
Yeah.
in the
And
end, you
it's
can't have
ironic.
everything.
And what's so ironic about that though is like, I mean, your game is very UI heavy.
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
game,
totally.
it is a very UI heavy game. And so like to think you're like, I hate UI, and you're like, wow, you made a UI like it's very menu oriented. So it's like yeah, it's tough. I mean, I for our game too, I just to let you know, I do all the UX and UI in that, and oh my god, it makes you, well, first of all, when things don't line up perfectly, I want to lose it.
Yeah.
I like want to kill myself. It just makes me go crazy when things aren't perfectly aligned, especially because in Unity, the way that they have their structure with their parent and child objects and stuff like that, if you don't have things associated correctly, you'll have your anchors wrong and the numbers will be off, and that's where I start to go crazy when I'm like seeing all the numbers and I'm like, these are not lined up. Everything should be 225 on the y-axis and everything's like not, and I'm like, why is this not lining up? And then it's like whatever parent object, or if it's based on a different anchor, anyway, it drives me nuts. But yeah, no, it's tough. It's tough. That's one of the biggest complaints that we had just recently with our playtest. Well, that wasn't the biggest complaint, but it was what we were able to understand, that like people didn't understand what was necessarily happening in the game, more or less. And a lot of that is because they just weren't getting enough user interface cues onto what was going on. And so we're just like, crap, all right, let's go. We got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do this. We do this. But it's, you just don't, oh man, it's tough. It's tough to figure out what to put in front of somebody to make them understand what you're trying to present to them, I guess, is the best way that I could try and make it make sense.
No, totally. And
yeah,
the most frustrating thing is when you realize, okay, I've completely built this wrong. I had all my characters usually. So the game is, you've seen it, 3 characters at the bottom. At first, they were on the left screen, on the left side of the screen, all 3 of them, and the actual gameplay and the enemies were on the right side of the screen. And at some point, I realized, okay, this won't work with the descriptions of the dice and what they do, because it would block out the enemies and so.
Yeah.
And I realized I had to put them back down where I, at the very first, had them when I started this project. And I just wanted to kill myself. I thought, oh no, I have to redesign everything, the whole thing.
No.
Because nothing came together. I can't just, no, they don't fit beside each other because they were too small or too big. And yeah, completely redesigned it from scratch. And yeah, that wasn't fun.
Yeah. So how do we feel about, as far as with the demo potentially coming out this month? Do you feel like, okay, I think it's, well, you said you're only going into itch, right? You're only going to go into itch first?
At first into itch, but this episode, I mean, it's June now. This episode comes out in September, probably. I saw a sheet where you listed this.
Something like that. Yeah. So you'll probably eventually be in, probably be closer to being on Steam at that point, but,
exactly. But I feel good about the itch demo. I am really excited to have someone play it. I mean, hopefully someone will discover it and play it. Yeah, I'm keen to hear what they think.
Cool. I mean, I'm excited to try it out. And so it's like a roguelike deck builder. Like, give me a little bit of background just on the game itself. Like, how did you come up with the game? Why this specific type of genre? Like, give me kind of like the full picture of this game and your journey with this game.
Sure. So the game is called Life Altered. And it's a roguelike deck builder played with dice instead of cards. And it's about people using the abilities of real life plants and animals of our planet to defeat enemies. So there are 3 characters on the screen that you control, and each of them has 3 dice. And on each dice there are some form of animal or plant and that you can play. So Think about the honey badger doing some damage, or the stinging tree delivering pain to the enemy, which does something. And that's what you play. So aside from the fact that it's dice instead of cards, it's a pretty traditional deck builder. And the way that came out to be was actually a little bit weird, because I didn't set out to make a deck builder. I actually, my initial idea was I wanted to look at the very old games that I love and pick something out of those gameplay loops that I think I can turn into a roguelike or game with roguelike mechanics. And there were a lot of games I looked at, but the two finalists were a game called Albion, which is an RPG by Blue Byte. Probably never heard of it.
I have not heard of it. Sorry.
And the other one is Might and Magic 4 World of Xen.
Oh, well, and I've heard of Might and Magic, yeah.
Okay, so that's the very old, from the 90s, early 90s game that I loved to play as a kid, and I still, to this day, every couple of years, make a playthrough there. And I thought I can do the battles of those games as a roguelike, but ran into a couple of problems, mainly that roguelikes rely on randomness. So that's probably something that every experienced game designer could have told me from the get-go. But me being a newbie, I just trial and errored it. And one thing led to another, and I looked at some games that I loved, some current day games that I love. One of them is Slay the Spire, which I have 1,000 hours in. And that's where that came from, I think, mostly. But I didn't want to do cards, because I thought, okay, if I do cards, my experience in Slay the Spire will make this game too much like Slay the Spire. So I just looked for something different to do and played around with a match 3 system at one point early on, but finally landed on dice. And that's how that came to be.
Kind of makes it simple going with dice, though, because if you, it looks like all D6, so it's like you have 6 options. Where you're like, I mean, you almost in a good way you limited yourself, because if you could go like deck builder, I mean, like full deck, like how many options are we going to put in here? So you're like, oh, if you go with the dice, you're like, okay, cool. Each one will. In this case, they have like, well, I guess it's 6, 12. What is it? 18 different options or something like that. Each roller. I haven't played your game, so I'm making assumptions based off the trailer. But
no, exactly. But
just from my perception is what it looks like. So you have the 6 dice. It rolls your abilities that you get to use on the enemy and things like that. And so, being able to have that sort of limited amount of abilities at a time that can actually pop up, it makes it. I like it when things are a little bit more. Personally, I like things where are a little bit more focused and simple. Where if it's like too many options, it kind of gets too difficult. Like if it's too many options, you can really start to, okay, well, is this good? Is this good? Or whether, but if you can kind of simplify it down to, like I said, I guess in a way you get to build your 18 dice in a way for each character or something like that, or 18 options.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
So you start out with 3 dice per character, but they aren't full yet. You can roll an empty die. So one of them is full, one of them has 4 options, and the last one usually has no options unless you pick one of them to be leader. Then you get 2 options on there, and you have to fill the dice out. So every time you beat an enemy, you can gain a new ability, and you can fill those dice out a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. And I was just going back thinking about like too many options. I remember when this isn't a deck builder or even a roguelite, but I remember when do you remember when Star Wars Old Republic, the MMO came out? Did you play any MMOs or anything like that?
No. Well, as a kid, Ultima Online, but after that, no.
So like I played a lot of WoW, and then like obviously when Star Wars, the new Star Wars MMO was coming out, it was supposed to be like everyone was claiming to be the next WoW killer every time a new MMO came out, and every single one of them failed until everyone just stopped playing WoW, because the WoW killer was just WoW. WoW killed their own game, which is ironic enough. Anyway, that was a digression. But when I think about limiting, like as far as abilities and options, like that was where I think one of the worst things about that game was each character had too many options. It was too many abilities, too many things to choose from, too many too much. And like when you're sitting there trying to think about like, especially in MMO, when you're like, okay, what's my rotation? What's my build? What's the things that I'm going to do when I get into an encounter, in a fight or whatever, and having too many things to choose from, you just like, I don't know, maybe I'll make it up this time. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe there's things that are redundant. I don't know. And so, like I said, I like the fact that you have a limited scope as far as abilities and things like that that you can choose from. Just it makes it more fun to actually customize and make your guy out.
Absolutely. And I actually had that exact problem that you described, because early on I got excited and I thought, oh, you could in order to upgrade one of your creatures, you sacrifice another and gain its abilities. So you sacrifice a stag beetle to upgrade your honey badger. And I thought, okay, each upgrade should be unique. So you could get like exponential thousands of different upgrades for your creatures. And actually, my brother stopped me at that and said, that sounds kind of like Path of Exile, where you have thousands of different skill trees and nobody without a PhD degree gets it.
Yeah.
And that stopped me to think about it. And yeah, it doesn't make sense. I do have something similar now in it, but it's just if you sacrifice an animal, you can upgrade the other, but you get just the class-specific upgrade. So there's a limited option there too.
Simplify. I always believe just in a philosophy as like a gaming and things like that, game design in general, is like if you can make it simple, like simplify it, at least with the first version, as for whatever the first thing out, make it as simple as possible, because you can always add cool and interesting and unique new things later on the road as the audience grows, because then you have an audience, you're like, they get it, they understand. Okay, so now if I add, let's just take the sacrifice mechanic. Let's say you add this new sacrifice mechanic, or I did the one that you were just talking about that you scratched, you change it to this new thing. Well, that's an easier to adjust because they already know the foundation of the game. Okay, cool. Now I can do this new thing with the thing, and then add new elements and stuff like that as it grows with the audience. But yeah, right out the gate, I just believe in like, make it simple. Make it so simple that we pick it up and you just, it doesn't take too much to understand to what you need to do to solve the problem, or to solve, not the problem, but like the game is the problem. You know what I mean? So like how to solve, moving forward on that.
And the simplest thing about your game should still be enjoyable to play, because I think that's how you hook the player, that you actually get them to spend time to learn the other mechanics if you have them. But you should start simple, right on.
Yeah.
And
the mechanics shouldn't be difficult. The game should be difficult, but not the mechanics. Exactly. The mechanics should be simple. But if you make the game difficult, you're like, oh, like your boss, you have a really strong boss fight or something like that. That's different. That means I need to work with the mechanics in a way into my favor to be able to solve this problem or move past this enemy. But not the mechanics are working against me and I just don't understand what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's definitely an interesting looking game for sure. I'm definitely very glad that you decided to jump on here and do the show with me. And so what's our goals look like as far as, we're obviously working for the demo, before October. What does it look like as far as just the future, what you want out of this game? Is basically game dev like what you want to be as your future career path, or is this kind of just like a hobby thing for you and you'll continue to do this as it comes up? And just, I don't know if that makes any sense. Like I said, I had too much coffee this morning.
No, it makes total sense. I totally would love to be a full-time game dev as a career path. And I'm working towards that goal, but I'm realistic about that I will probably not achieve that goal. I think at least it is realistic to think like that. But it would have to be a level of success where I can be sure that I can support my family with it, because I can do this on the side forever. I can do 2 to 3 hours a day to work on this game, and if this game is done and it's a complete failure commercially, then that's fine. I can just move on to the next one, and I'll be happy if none of them get successful. That's fine too,
Yeah.
because I had fun doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not the goal. Still, I want the games
Yeah.
to be successful. I want to make them Balatro level successes if I can,
Yeah.
and that would be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the goals you reach for, but not the goals you expect to meet.
Yeah. I mean,
So
it's essentially it fits into this is the creative outlet. This is, you have your work, you have your life, you have your family, and you're like, and then this is how I get my creativity out. This is how, because everybody is creative in some way, fashion, or facet. And so it's like, if you just stifle that, I mean, you're going to explode, and you'll probably burn everything down to the ground if you get no way of getting your creativity out. And so, like, in a good way, this is like your positive form of creativity, of getting that out.
exactly, and I'm
And
so happy that I found it. I mean, I've been looking for a creative outlet my whole life. I feel like I tried music, not good at it. I tried drawing, not good at it. I tried acting, somewhat good at it, but not great at it. And the first thing that really feels effortless is game dev.
oh yeah, that's cool. That's definitely really cool. Um, oh man. So let's see. I'm gonna look at some of your answers and questions. Like I said, I've said this before, but I chop a lot of this up just to make sure that there's a decent flow with it.
Sure.
So if we take breaks or have to go to the bathroom or things like that, like, don't even stress out about it. Um, I think what's funny about that is, like, as I so most of the time I look at the questions before I start, and I look at your answers and things like that. So, and then, but inadvertently, just from talking, I end up getting around to talking about almost everything on that list
Yeah.
in some way or another. But now that I think about it,
Does it ever get repetitive for you? I mean,
what's that?
does it ever get repetitive for you? Because some of the answers, at least, must be very similar from dev to dev.
Yes. To answer your question, it is as short as possible. It does get repetitive, and it's like, what's frustrating is, like, well, you're in marketing, so you understand this. You always know that you're not always going to. There's a problem uploading the file. We'll continue to upload. Oh, that's fine. That happens sometimes. Oh, it's not a big deal. That happens sometimes. You know this from marketing. Every time you put something out there, you're more or less usually hitting a new audience. It's not always hitting the same person every single time. So, like, I have to tell myself that, because these things do feel repetitive sometimes. But I know every time an episode comes up, even if I've said the same thing like 7 times, more or less, the majority of the people that have seen it haven't heard it. This is the first time they're hearing it. And so, yeah, to answer, it does feel repetitive, but, like, I guess I have a lot of, I'm old. I'm not really old, but, like, I understand the game where it's like, not the same person's not going to be, I mean, I hope the same people still listen to it. However, I know the majority of the people that are going to be listening to it for the first time or the first time they see this episode will mostly be people that have heard it for the first time. So it's okay that it's repetitive sometimes. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes we go down a different path and talk about anything. Like I said, if there's anything specific you want to talk about, I'll talk about literally anything. And that could be a part of the episode, and we can go off on that. We can talk about AI, we can talk about game development in general, you can talk about the industry, and talk about whatever. We can talk about movies. You're an actor, we can talk about you being an actor.
No, let's not.
No, I'm not. But you said that you're actually kind of an actor. I'm actually kind of curious. So what do you mean by that?
I did some theater, just amateur theater at my local city.
Oh, cool. That's how me and my wife met, actually. This is in theater. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, like 16 years ago now at this point. But yeah, we met in the theater, and that's one of the things that we love doing. Is she's much more of a singer and dancer than I am, but but yeah, I enjoy it. It's a big part of our life for sure. Absolutely, performing and things like that. So
Yeah, I really loved it. I mean, I love the crazy people that do it. Um, it's
Yeah.
usually a great community to be around in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just that after like 3 or 4 plays with the same group, it starts to get a little stale, at least for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're getting into the same stupid discussions about whatever the stage and how it should look like, and
Yeah.
do we need as much smoke and where do we get the smoke? And I'm thinking, I don't care about the smoke. I don't want to spend the next 45 minutes talking about it. Um, but yeah,
That's funny.
I really
Um,
enjoyed acting, but I wasn't really good at it, I have to say.
yeah. I mean, I love it. I mean, me and my wife, have you done any shows that I might know of? Anything like that have been on Broadway? Not well. I mean, just any shows that have they have done the rights to, I guess.
Let me think. I did Mousetrap by Agatha Christie. That's
I feel like I've heard of
sort
it.
of known. Then a couple of German plays by Friedrich Dürrenmatt. Probably don't know that.
Mm-mm.
The
Sorry.
physician.
Yeah, sorry, don't know that
That's so
one.
good. Death on the Nile. You know, the
Oh,
Hercule
okay.
Poirot
Oh,
thing.
cool. Oh, that's awesome. Were you? Oh, what's his? Jacques is what's his name? The
Hercule Poirot.
yeah, that there he is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking someone else, but yeah.
Yeah, it actually was the dude. I mean, Agatha Christie didn't write Hercule Poirot in the. She actually wrote the book, and then she wrote a stage version of it, and there was no Hercule Poirot in the stage version of it,
Oh wow,
which
I
I
didn't know
didn't
that.
know beforehand. Yeah, me neither.
Oh wow.
And I got the role that kind of replaced Hercule Poirot. He was a pastor
Oh,
that kind of solved the mystery.
that's cool. That'd be a fun role actually. That sounds like a really cool role to play.
Yeah, that was great.
My favorite role that I've done couple fun roles, but my favorite role, they did an adaptation of. Do you know the Evil Dead movies?
No,
Oh, you
I
don't know
know
the
of
Evil Dead?
them,
Okay.
but I haven't seen them.
Okay. So I mean, so you may not get too much of the reference, but like it's obviously like in the States is a huge cult following of the Evil Dead and the Evil Dead movies and the Army of Darkness and all that stuff or whatever. They made a musical of it, and so one of my favorite roles, I got to play the lead Ash in that show.
Oh wait, that's the Sam Raimi movie, right?
Yeah, the Sam
Oh yeah,
Raimi and
yeah,
Bruce Campbell as
yeah, I've seen that
the
at some
the
point.
lead.
Hmm.
Yeah. That was like their claim to fame. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
the Raimis, both of him and his brother, and then Bruce. They were all like basically best friends, and they made the first Evil Dead, and then they made the sequel to Evil Dead, quote unquote sort of sequel. It's like I watched a video on Bruce Campbell explaining it on like the sequel, because it's if you watch the first one and then you watch the sequel, you're like they're like the same movie. How is it a Evil Dead 2? But he's like, you have to watch the first one up until the point where the tree, or where he like the camera, because they do that weird thing through the trees or whatever, and when it grabs them, and then you start the movie at some point or whatever halfway through the second movie, and then it's like basically that's how they cut the movie. It's such a weird confusing thing, because when you watch both of them you're like they're the same movie, but it's like basically the first half of the first movie is the first movie, and then the second half of the second movie is the second movie, and
I
then
get it.
that's the way you have to kind of look at those two movies, and then the
Mhm.
third movie, which being Army of Darkness. But anyways, that was a huge tangent. I love those movies. Like growing up as a kid, I used to watch Army of Darkness like all the time, because it's just it's so silly and campy and ridiculous. But Ash is such an iconic
Mm.
character. Like he's just, I mean, he has the chainsaw arm and the shotgun or his boomstick. I mean, it's just such an iconic character. And yeah, I got to play him on stage, and that was pretty fun. with the chainsaw arm and the shotgun shooting. Oh crap! What are they called? I forget what they're called. The demons or whatever. But yeah, it was a fun show.
That must be fun, yeah.
Oh shoot! I think I lost your microphone for a second.
Yeah, I switched it off because I had to cough.
Oh shoot! Okay, no worries.
So
I
that's
saw you talking,
intentional.
and I was like, oh. Yeah, that was cool. That was real cool. Like I said, we went on a huge digression. We started talking about theater and stuff like that. But yeah, that's how me and my wife went, and I think it's theater's great. I mean, it's a small community. You can't screw them up, or you will get blacklisted real quick.
Yeah.
If you do something bad, it's so everybody in every little theater community, like everyone knows each other. Like just flat out, everybody knows each other. And if you do something that's going to make one director mad, you're not getting cast in other shows because they all talk to each other.
Very true.
Yeah. Oh man. So with this with your game, wanted to I've had, like I said, I've had too much coffee today. And was there anything specific you wanted to bring up?
Oh wait, I didn't finish the one thought
Oh, sorry about that.
because with the origin of the game, we can talk about that a little bit, I
Oh,
guess.
right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because we started talking about it, and yeah, I settled on the dice-based deck like a road builder, and then I kind of needed a theme, and so the origin of the game was, as I told you, Might and Magic 4, and that's pretty much your old medieval fantasy stuff. And I didn't want to do that because I felt that I've seen this so many times. And then Slay the Spire solved this problem by being completely crazy and completely fantastical, and there's no rhyme or reason to their monsters or why you have to slay the spire, why you are crawling up that tower. So I didn't want to do that either because I felt I wouldn't come up with anything. I need to base this on something, and that's when I studied biology in my youth. Actually, I have a diploma in that. And I thought about, okay, write about what you know, and that's because that's the reason why there are these crazy animals and plants in there. Because it's endlessly
chimera-like.
fascinating. Yeah, it's endlessly fascinating to me that there are such weird creatures on this planet, both
yeah.
plants and animals and microbes that I plan to put in the game. Like the stinging tree, for example, that can actually deliver pain to you just by standing near to it because it has these little hairs that are filled with toxins and they break easily, and you breathe the stuff in and you're just in a lot of pain just by standing next to the tree. And I thought that's a great way to come up with abilities for the game. Like, what's the honey badger going to do? What's the capybara going to do? What's the quokka going to do?
Yeah, like I was just saying, it has a very high like chimera feel to it. Like it's just, combining several animals together, or I guess in your way, it's combining plants and animals together and creating some sort of, well, I'm looking at this one. It's like some weird wolf with like tentacles coming out of its mouth. With,
yeah,
like,
that's the
legs
enemies,
almost.
right?
Yeah.
So the story of the game is that it's actually played on our Earth, and with the alternate history thing, there's just one difference. Like 300 years ago, there was this event that people started to be born with the abilities to harness the power of different animal or plant groups to do things with it. Then cut to present time. There's another event where an alien infestation, an alien virus corrupts all life on Earth, and that's the creatures you see as the enemies. So that used to be a wolf, but it has been infected by the alien virus, and your task is to defeat your way through a couple of these enemies to get to the source of the infection.
It's cool, man. It's interesting. Definitely interesting. And
yeah, but I want the story actually to be, so that's probably why I haven't talked about it until the 60-minute mark almost. Because I actually want it to be the background. I don't think it's important for a deck builder to have a good story, and I don't want to have for the player to have to click through a bunch of story. It'll be very much in the background for anyone who's interested. I kind of like the way how Into the Breach did it. Do you know that game?
I'm sorry, I missed it. What was that? One more time?
Do you know the game Into the Breach? I like how they did it.
Oh yeah. I've seen, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because you don't get an exposition for that story, but just by having the characters talk to each other during the gameplay, during those fights, you kind of get the gist of what is going on. Okay, there's an alien infestation on this planet, and you have to root them out. And okay, they're time traveling somehow, and there's alternate dimensions and everything, and you don't need to know any of that, but you just pick it up the more you play the game, and that's kind of how I want to deliver the story too.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great game.
That's a fantastic game. They're my favorite developers.
I feel like we talked about, now that I think about it, I think we talked about that a little bit, didn't we?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I know it's been a while and we don't get enough sleep, that's for sure.
Yeah. Do you
yeah,
own
that's
Playdate by any chance?
I did. I played the crap out of that game. I love that game.
No, I mean, do you own a Playdate, the little yellow console? Do you know that one?
Oh no, Playdate? No, I haven't heard of that.
It's a little yellow console, kind of the size of half a Game Boy. And you play it with a crank on it that you turn. It's really interesting. And the thing, because why I bring it up is Subset Games, the developer of Into the Breach and FTL, they actually put out a game for this little Playdate thing. And I've been playing that obsessively for the last couple of days, and it's really great. It's called Fulcrum Defender.
It's called Playdate?
Playdate.
Console. There it is. Playdate console. Oh, That's just so strange. So why do you... Is the crank a part of like a control mechanism?
Yeah,
like that's the...
So in the Fulcrum Defender game, it's just how you turn it. You got a little circle in the middle. That's you. And you turn it around, and that's how you aim your shots at the enemies that are coming at you. And I'm just so jealous of these guys, how they design these games, because it's so fucking flawless. Sorry, can I swear?
Yeah. Yes, you're fine. What an interesting little console.
Right?
How old is this thing?
I'm not sure. I think a couple of years, like 3-4 years. I'm not positive.
That is such an interesting little console. Yeah, I am jealous of those guys. The way they think. I mean, some people, man, the way they think through problems, and how they come up with design and things like that is so interesting. And I mean, obviously, a lot of these guys, a lot of them have been around for a long period of time. And so I actually don't know too much of those guys' background, the Into the Breach guys. Do you know much about their background as far as...
Oh, just a little bit from what I've picked up from podcasts that they did. They met in Hong Kong. I think they worked for Take-Two together and started to branch out on their own. Went and made FTL, which was a huge hit, and then they took like 5 or 6 years to make Into the Breach. So yeah, it does look flawless when you play it, but that's probably also good to know that they really slaved over that one, and that went through a lot of iterations. They had to cut a lot of stuff. They designed and redesigned. They had a lot of UI problems, and yeah, that's
I could definitely see. Well, because when you play it, you can see that they're like, I feel like there's like this is a slimmed down version of it a little bit sometimes. Yeah, how like, because I mean, you can only have the 3 mechs and things like that, and it just, I feel like they possibly, definitely wanted to have more in that game. That game is, I need to go back and play that game some more, because
but which goes to your point, like the combinations, right?
Huh?
Which goes to your point, to simplify it.
It's true.
Simplified the heck out of it, and it's one of the best games I ever played.
It's so true. No, absolutely. Yeah, you're 100% right there. It's very difficult too. Some of those map zones, like I would get so freaking mad at. I'd be like, this is like, you'd sit there and you'd wipe the enemies, and all of a sudden you're like, really? Like 30 of them are going to pop out of the ground right now? And you're trying to move your guys around. It's just, man, that game could get frustrating, but worth it if anyone's listening. I mean, that game is really top notch for sure. I never played FTL though. No. Surprisingly enough. No, I don't know why. Like, not for any particular reason. You know what? the thing that caught me, I like mechs. I love robots. So like, I think that's probably why they got me on this one. They're like, we made robots. I was like, okay, here we go. And I like tactics. I like tactics and robots. So I was like, okay, great. Let's play. Like, what was that one tactic robot game? Frickin' A. Now I'm not going to remember it. It doesn't matter. But yeah, so they got me with the robots, and I was like, I get to make a robot team. I'm all in.
Yeah, I think I actually held out on playing it because it looked a little bit too simple for my tastes back then. I mean, nowadays I love simple games because I only have like 20 minutes or so to play them.
Yeah.
But I think I got it through a Humble bundle or something and decided to play it. And yeah, should have played it sooner. And then I decided, okay, I'm gonna buy FTL, try that out, and yeah, I can recommend it. It's really great.
Yeah. I should give FTL a try. It was just one of those things. Well, FTL isn't it? It's more like micromanagey, isn't it? Like FTL is.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to give that a try.
It's a little bit more hectic because it's real time. I mean, you can pause it. It's been a while since I played it. But yeah, it gets a little bit hectic because you have to micromanage your crew and yeah. But if you get into
how is balancing your game as far as like managing your resources and things like that, and how do you kind of decide, you know, do you have like a spreadsheet you work off of, like, okay, so like this area will be more difficult because of these sequences or these things or this limited resources or things like that? So how do you manage progression through your game and making sure that it's fair and balanced in a way?
Right now, I just play the game and try to get through it. And if I can't get through it, then probably no one can because I built the damn thing. So that's my measuring stick for, okay, it's too difficult. And I have to tweak some things. But I don't have a spreadsheet yet. I don't, I basically work by feel. I think it feels good, but yeah, it's one of the reasons why I need to get the demo out. I need to get people to play it and tell me, okay, I breezed through this part, but this one's a showstopper. And yep. Actually, I think it'll probably take another year or so to get the game content complete and feature complete. And then I'll probably have another year ahead of me to balance the game also. That's probably a stupid way to go about it, but
I don't know if I mean, there's probably a set of like, how do I put this? I wouldn't say it's a stupid way of doing, but I'm sure there is a set of better ways to do certain things. Is the best way I could probably put it. But I think everyone kind of has their own ways, because then you look at like what was that one game that just went completely bananas? Schedule 1 or whatever went crazy, and that guy was just like, no one knew what it even had been out for a little bit, and then all of a sudden Next Fest or something happened, or the demo, or no, he had like nothing basically, and then he put it on Next Fest and it just went bonkers, and then it went like 1 or 2 streamers picked it up or something like that, and then the game went absolutely viral from there. But I guess people really like that game because I guess it feels actually like a well-made game, and obviously, I mean, like, people want to sit there and like deal drugs to people. You know what I mean? There's the controversial aspect of it as well, which makes you think. It's like, when I think of like trying to market like a game, it's like, what's that? I think we talked a little bit about this, but like, what's that one unique thing that you can kind of put on the face of your game and say, this is what makes me unique? You know what I mean? And is it a controversial element? Is it a gameplay feature? Is it our art? Our art is fantastic? Is it a new way to play a game mode? Because roguelite is relatively new-ish, you know, and so that's kind of who do you think started the roguelike genre in a way?
Derek Yu with Spelunky.
Spelunky?
He's the one that took this. I mean, it comes from the game Rogue, and roguelikes aren't actually anything like Rogue. That's one of the thing that pisses the Rogue fans off, that we call it roguelikes, but whatever. But he's the one who took that and said to himself, okay, I can take some of the things in Rogue, like the permadeath and the difficulty and the randomness of the stages, and put it in a platformer instead of this top-down dungeon crawler, which is Rogue. So he's the one who's
Interesting.
in my eyes.
I didn't know that.
And then a lot of people just, especially devs back then, loved Spelunky and went crazy about it. And yeah, that they started to put this formula into other games.
Yeah. I still see a handful of people playing that game, actually. To
totally.
be honest with you, I don't even know if I know what Spelunky is. I'm curious now.
I like the game, but it's too difficult for me. I really can't make it past the first 2 worlds.
I remember this game. 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the OG roguelike.
At least as far as I know.
Yeah. You're probably right, though. Oh, man, that's crazy. This may be just one of those ones. You know what? I'm when it comes to like indie gaming in general, because they self-published and everything. So as far as indie gaming goes, I would say I'm like fairly new to it in the sense of like I didn't really start looking at indie games until like probably maybe like 5 years ago. I started taking indie games more seriously because of just the landscape of what AAA has kind of done. I feel like they've kind of done a lot of things that have left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. And then I started really looking at indie games also now, me, being an indie dev now at this point and talking to other indie devs and seeing how much more creativity and things like that go into it. And also just the immediate feedback you can get to the developers. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, you're making a game. I'm talking to the person making your game. You know what I mean? And likewise, if someone watching wanted to reach out to you, they play your demo or something like that, they send you an email, you are going to get that email. You are personally going to get that feedback that then you can, whether it's valid or non-valid, but you can basically then, take that feedback and do something with it compared to sending like if I had an issue with like, let's just say, what's a good one to pick on right now? Let's say Assassin's Creed, because they're fun to pick on. Let's say I wanted to pick on actually, you know what's funny is I have I don't want to digress yet. I'll talk about it in a second. But let's just take Assassin's Creed for a second. You send an email to them and be like, I don't like this aspect of it or whatever. No one's going to see that email. No one's going to see it. No one's going to hear about it. No, the developers working on it aren't going to care. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's going to go through the publisher, then it's going to go through the attorneys. It's going to go through so many different hands before it actually gets to somebody that cares to make a change or do something different about it. And also by then they've done all their internal testing. They're like, well, that's just the way it is, unless they obviously get the massive backlash, which they've been getting, but they still continue to move forward and can completely ignore any of the community. I would say that is one thing. Ubisoft they're like, nope, we're going to do it. And I don't care what anybody says about it. Okay, we'll see how your game does then, I guess. But anyway, back to the digression, what I was going to say, I actually have such a, this is way before all the controversy with Ubisoft. When Ubisoft first had almost no controversy, everyone just liked them for the games they made. But like when the first Assassin's Creed was coming out, and I was so jacked and pumped up for that first game to come out, I was like so excited because one of my favorite games is like Metal Gear Solid. So I was like, I get to sneak around and be an assassin in Jerusalem, just like, that's freaking wild. I was like, and especially like I'd been watching all their tech stuff and how they made the game and all the different things and how many polygons were in each level and all this stuff. And I was like, yo, this is crazy looking. I'm like, this game's going to be awesome. And all they marketed was you and the assassin in Jerusalem killing people and all the cool things of like walking through the crowd and whatever. So obviously I was totally in, I was sold. And then you buy the game and you play it and it's like, they have this weird, people get mad at me about this, but I think they're 100% wrong about this. But they had that weird story element where you go back into your blood timeline. Mm-hmm. You're actually just this dumb bartender in New York, but then you go into your bloodline to go be the assassin in Jerusalem. I'm like, that's so stupid. I'm like, and they didn't market it at all. which was something that was so frustrating to me. It was just like a surprise. Thank you for buying our $60 game, and then go. Now you're not really this, that, and then they take you back and forth. Like, so as you're playing, all of a sudden you'll get through an objective, and then they'll take you back out, and you'll be like the dumb bartender again. And they're like, let's talk about how this organization's been around for so long. I'm like, I don't care about this. I actually don't care. I just want to be the assassin. I just want to be in Jerusalem. I just want to be the assassin. And tell me about this weird thing at the end of the game. Why not? Why can't we do that? Or, maybe he's reading a book or something like that, and then he goes into like a backflash, or I don't know. It doesn't matter. But anyway, that's my big gripe with it. My gripe with Assassin's Creed goes all the way back to the first one.
Yeah, I haven't played all of them, but I hated it too. Every game, and they stick to it, and I don't know why. I think the first one was Black Flag that I played, and it's a great game, but every once in a while, they take you out and you work at this world's equivalent of Google or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, okay, come on, how long is this going to take? Half an hour or so? And
so they still do
I want
that.
to be the pirate again. They still do it.
Oh my!
They toned it back though. The last one I played was Valhalla, and you get a little. I think I played something like 20, 30 hours or so of that. Not enough to finish it, of course. And I think I got pulled out once, and I had to do a jump and run sequence there for 5 minutes or so, and then they let me back in. So they know that people hate it, but for some reason, whatever, they can't. I mean, I think they're just too far in by now.
Well, this goes back to the community. When it first happened, like when the game that came out, like the first one came out, it got slammed by this because they didn't market that feature. Basically, they just were like, it's going to be a surprise. Like, they're like sitting here in like a room of the people that made the game, like, this is going to be great. We'll totally trick the people when they get in the game. like this is not a good design idea. Like, I think the idea of that, like the Templars, or this whole idea of like this assassin organization goes through time is cool. But going back in time through your weird bloodline thing to see what happened back then, or participate, it's so, like, you could have done that with just saying you're reading the transcripts or the documentation or something like that, or you're the next bloodline assassin in this, but you need to learn about something or whatever. You need to learn about what happened in the past. And you go back there. So you had the beginning, do that, and now you're just the assassin essentially reading the stories of what happened in the past.
Exactly. It kind of feels like they're taking agency away from you. Instead of, you're the player. This medium is awesome because the player gets to make choices. And he still do. But the story is that you don't make choices. You just, like you said, reading or experiencing what this character did back then, even though you're controlling him. And I don't get it. It's a baffling design choice for me. But it's really interesting because I do think about it sometimes. Like, I think this is a completely awesome idea, and I love this design choice that I made. And someone will see that probably and think, no, this is completely stupid. Why are you doing this? It's obvious that this is stupid. Why are you doing this? Because someone over there must have thought this was a good idea.
Oh man, that kind of feels like a little bit of a strike to the bow a little bit, because some of the feedback we got was it's kind of attacked a little bit of the core of our game a little bit, and so it kind of shook us a little bit, and so we're like, same kind of thing. It's like, why would you do it this way, type of thing. And we're just kind of like, fuck, we thought it was a good idea. You know what I mean? We thought it was going to be cool. I guess we were wrong. So
yeah, and the tricky thing is, are you overreacting to 2 or 3 naysayers? Are there people who actually like it, and just it's easier to criticize something than, hey, this mechanic right here, I like this.
It's hard to decide what. I think that's a good point. Overreact. Like, do you hear that and then try to overcompensate, or do you say, okay, my approach to it is my approach is to try and do lighter touches around the edges to see if you can make it feel better. If the problem persists, then have a bigger conversation about a change. That's just my philosophy on it. Like, try and solve the problem lighter, so that way you don't have to do a bunch of work that's not needed, you know, especially don't do a bunch of like complete rework, redesign or things like that. Do simple things first, see how the feedback is at that point. If you solve 90% of the problems with just the lighter touch stuff, then the problem's solved. You're good. You're solid. Move forward, you know, and iterate instead of overreacting. Let's do this big, massive change. And then, you know, because big, massive changes also come with their own problems that they're going to come with. But anyway, that'll be fun because I'm in a huge debate with my other devs right now. Huge debate.
Oh, I don't envy you.
Yeah.
I like being solo on this one because I don't have to debate with anyone.
Yeah.
I just do what I want.
It cuts both ways for sure.
Of course.
I mean, when you're doing it by yourself, then the only person you have to blame is yourself. No, not that.
And
I mean,
there's no one to talk me out of my stupid ideas. That's the other.
Yes. And then, I mean, and also just generally like having that sort of feedback with other people too is very, like, it's creative and fun, like coming up with ideas and fleshing things out, and other people can help solve problems too. But then when you disagree, it's just like, here we go. Everyone pull their knives out and start stabbing each other.
Yeah.
Which is what, you know, and then also you kind of get, sometimes you feel like if you're the only one that disagrees, or if there's only one person that disagrees with the idea or something like that, then you kind of feel like it's like a little bit of a gang up or things like that. Sometimes you might feel like, well, it's hard to kind of be like, well, I'm outvoted, I guess, on this situation, especially if you believe something like truly, like, I just believe that this is right. And they're like,
and now outvoted. I have to implement the wrong thing.
Yeah. Now I have to choose to do the wrong. I mean, but like I said, on the flip side of it, there's just from me working on other projects before is just, I believe like, if you want to go far, you go, like, there's a saying, like, if you want to go fast, you go alone. Like, if you want to do it quickly, because then you don't have anyone to give you any sort of friction, you do it alone. If you want to go far, if your dream is to make something big and large and, you know, really go somewhere far, then you have to do it with people. You do it with people. And, that's one of my philosophies. So it's like, sometimes it's worth just biting your lip and moving forward for the greater good of the product or the production and keep things on track. So
yeah, and as I said, I can't do it alone. I can't write music. I can't do the art. I need other people. And just because I commission them doesn't mean their input on the game isn't. I mean, that's the first thing that people see, the visuals, and I didn't do that.
Yeah, and that's I mean, it's so hard to have a visual. What's the right word? It's not like visual fidelity. It's like a visual character. Like, huh?
Consistency.
Well, consistency, but it's also like attitude. Like when I look at Spelunky, like that has a very specific visual style to it, you know? And so to represent that very, like, someone's very unique visual style to be represented and taken in is, it's hard to find that for sure. Because you don't want to, like, you want to have something unique too, but you also don't want something too unique where everyone hates it. So you kind of have to try and find where your middle ground is. Because we actually just did go through something like that too, because we completely did all of our capsule art. All of our art used to be looking a certain way, and then we had our artists basically completely redraw all of the capsules and everything. Cool. I think it looks better. I think generally it looks better. But the old stuff didn't look bad. It just, we weren't, ours was purely mechanical. We were not getting the conversion ratio that we wanted on our Steam page. And so we're like, let's redesign all of the art basically. And so we had him basically redesign all of the art. And like I said, I think it looks good. I think it looks really, really good, his new stuff. But it's hard to decide whether it's worth it or not sometimes.
And it's very eye-catching. I like it.
Oh, thank you. I didn't do it. Well, I mean, our artist did it, but yeah, thank you. I mean, it's my game too. But yeah, thank you. Oh, man. Anyhow, yeah, like if there's anything else you want to talk about, I mean, we've gone for about an hour and 20 minutes now. Was there anything you wanted to bring up specifically?
No, I think we touched on everything that that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
And
things you didn't want to talk about.
and things I didn't want to talk about, yes. But it was fun to talk about them anyway.
Oh man.
No, but I'm quite early in game development still. I mean, I started this project in January 2024, and as I said, it's my first game. If I had a
Yeah.
backlog, we could talk about that, but I don't. Unless you count that weird little mobile game that I did 8 years ago. But yeah, no, it's been fun. If you
Yeah.
think you have enough, then we can stop right here.
Yeah, I think we're good. You know what we'll do? Let's do a little bit of an outro, so kind of give everyone a little bit of everything that they would want to know, like who you are, your game, where to find it, what you want them to do. Go to itch for the demo when it does come out. Like, just give everyone kind of everything that they would want to know about your game and what you want them to do.
Okay. So my game is called Life Altered. You can probably, by the time this episode comes out, get it on itch as a demo. Maybe even on the Steam demo, which will be more polished than the itch version. And yeah, check it out, wishlist it. It should come out late next year or early in 2027, so still a way off. But if you like it, wishlist it and support your indie devs.
Sweet. Well, right on, man. It was great having you here, and this was a fun episode.
Yeah, it was cool. I had a lot of fun. My first interview like that.
Yeah, right on.